Right. Strap yourselves in because Ed Davey has just gone completely barking mad, and Nigel Farage's response is absolutely savage. Picture this. You're the leader of a party that's polling at half the support of your biggest rival. So what do? Obviously, you stand up at your conference and claim that rival will turn Britain into a dystopian nightmare complete with school shootings. Yes, you heard that correctly. Ed Davey has just accused Nigel Farage of wanting to create an America-style gun crisis in British schools. Welcome back to UK Secrets, where the political desperation has reached levels that would make a soap opera right to blush. So here's what's got everyone's jaws hitting the floor. At the Liberal Democrat conference in Bournemouth, Sir Ed Davey decided to deliver what can only be described as the most unhinged attack on Farage we've seen in years. He painted this apocalyptic vision of Fair Eyes Britain that sounds like it was written by someone who's been binge-watching too much American news. According to Davey, under Farage we'd have no NHS, fracking everywhere, kids learning duck-and-cover drills for mass shootings, and Andrew Tate being held up as a role model. It's like he took every American political nightmare and threw it into a blender with a healthy dose of British political panic. But here's the absolutely mental part about all this. Davey's speech mentioned Farage's name 25 times. 25. That's more than once every 2 minutes of speaking time. It's like he's forgotten is supposed to be promoting the Liberal Democrats and instead decided to give Farage the best free publicity campaign of his career. You've got to wonder if Farage should be sending Davey a thank you card at this point. Now, let's talk about Farage's response, because it was absolutely brutal. The man quipped, "Just watching poor Ed Davey speak. He is obsessed with me. I am happy to pay for a psychiatrist." Ouch! That's not just a political comeback. That's a full-blown character assassination delivered with surgical precision. When your opponent is offering to pay for your therapy, you know you've crossed a line somewhere. But wait, it gets better. A Reform UK official hit back with, "Ed Davey is a sad little man desperate for attention." Now, that might sound harsh, but when you consider that the Lib Dems are currently polling at around half of Reform's numbers, and their leader is spending his entire conference speech talking about Farage instead of his own policies, well, the shoe seems to fit rather snugly. The school shooting claim is particularly ridiculous when you actually look at the facts. Davey is basing this on some comments Farage made back in 2014 about Blair's handgun ban, where Farage argued that the knee-jerk legislation had gone too far and left only criminals with guns. But here's the thing that Davey conveniently forgot to mention. Reform UK has explicitly said they have no intention of changing Britain's gun laws. None. Zero. Zilch. So Davey's entire dystopian fantasy is built on something that's not even on the table. What makes this even more embarrassing for Davey is the context. The Liberal Democrat conference has been absolutely dominated by discussions about Reform UK and Farage. It's like they've forgotten they're supposed to be a political party with their own ideas and have instead become the official Nigel Farage fan club. They are so terrified of Reform's surge in the polls that they can't stop talking about them. It's political obsession at its finest. The irony here is absolutely delicious, though. Davey accused Farage of wanting to turn Britain into Trump's America, but who's actually using Trump-style fear tactics and wild accusations. Davey's speech could have been lifted straight from a Democratic Party attack ad, complete with the apocalyptic imagery and baseless scaremongering. He's basically become the very thing he's supposedly opposing. And let's talk about that flag-waving session Davey led at conference, because that's comedy gold right there. The Liberal Democrats, the party that spent years arguing against Brexit and questioning British sovereignty, suddenly decided they needed to prove they're just as patriotic as Reform. It's like watching someone desperately trying to convince everyone they are cool by copying the popular kids' homework. The desperation is so thick you could cut it with a knife. The truth is, this entire meltdown from Davey reveals something much more significant about the current state of British politics. The Liberal Democrats are genuinely terrified of Reform UK's rise, and instead of responding with better policies or stronger leadership, they're resorting to the kind of hysterical attacks that make them look completely unhinged. When you're reduced to claiming your opponent wants school shootings based on decade-old comments about gun licensing, you've officially lost the plot. What's particularly galling about Davey's approach is how it trivializes genuine concerns about gun violence. School shootings are a real tragedy that affects real families, and using them as a political weapon against an opponent who's never even proposed changing gun laws is not just dishonest, it's morally reprehensible. It's the kind of cheap shot that makes people lose faith in politics altogether. The polling numbers tell the real story here, though. Reform UK is consistently polling at more than double the Liberal Democrat support, and stunts like this aren't going to change that. If anything, Davey's unhinged rantings probably just convince more people that the Lib Dems are completely lost touch with reality. When your main political strategy is be obsessed with Nigel Farage, you're not exactly inspiring confidence in your ability to govern. Farage's comments about gun licensing from 2014 were actually quite reasonable when you strip away Davey's hysteria. He was pointing out that Blair's blanket ban had some unintended consequences, including forcing the British Olympic pistol team to train in France. That's not exactly advocating for Wild West lawlessness. It's pointing out that knee-jerk legislation can sometimes miss the mark. But nuance isn't exactly Davey's strong suit, apparently. The most telling part of this whole debacle is how it reveals the Liberal Democrats' complete lack of original ideas or vision. Instead of offering voters a compelling alternative, they decided their best strategy is to spend their entire conference obsessing over Farage. It's like they've given up being a political party and decided to become a support group for people who are afraid of Reform UK instead. Thanks for watching UK Secrets, where we break down the political chaos, so you don't have to wade through it yourself. What do you think about Davey's meltdown? Has he completely lost the plot, or is there method to his madness? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button if you think Farage's comeback was as brutal as we do, and don't forget to subscribe because British politics keeps getting weirder by the day, and we'll be here to make sense of it all.